now, viewers, in a significant breakthrough in the Delhi Red Fort blast, sources have revealed that prime suspect Dr. Umar Nabi, confirmed to have been behind the wheel of the I-20 car that exploded on November 10, was in contact with Turkey-based handler Ukasa. Investigation agencies suspect that Turkey-based handler Ukasa may be a code name. His location has been traded to Ankara. As probe advances in the Delhi terror blast case, the handlers were reportedly communicating via highly encrypted sessions app. Sources indicate a strong suspicion that some individuals who traveled from India to Ankara in March 2022 were radicalized during that trip. All right, viewers, now we're going to give you a detailed analysis of what really happened here. Now, this, viewers, is a Turkey trip. The telegram and radicalization, how doctors were radicalized, is what we're going to tell you. So, key link between arrested suspects and foreign handler operating from Ankara, Turkey. The handler was in direct contact with the man accused, Dr. Umar, and his associates. So, that's of course how these men were radicalized. Now, several individuals from India traveled to Turkey, including Umar and Dr. Muzammil Ganai, on March 22. Handler links, handle groups, movements, finances, and radicalization efforts. So that was how they traveled and what was handled there, viewers. And now, of course, we're talking about the code name Ukasa, and the location is Ankara, Turkey. We're, of course, saying that this may not be his original name. They met with a Jaish-e-Mohammed handler and were subsequently brainwashed during their visit. They were recruited into the network. And of course, viewers, later in the broadcast, we're going to be discussing how this radicalization actually happens. Agencies suspect that Ukasa, which means spider in Arabic, may not be the handler's real name. Dr. Umar, Imam Irfan were part of radical telegram groups. After their Turkey visit, viewers, targets were identified. The module's encrypted conversations began on Telegram and migrated to Signal and Session apps. Communication between the accused and their handler was maintained exclusively through the Sessions app. So now, of course, viewers, terror has gone completely online. Session app is an encrypted messaging platform known for its high level of anonymity. And that, of course, is the reason why it's being used by these terrorists. Turkey firmly rejects all acts of terrorism, regardless of where or by whom they are committed. So they've, of course, said that they're not involved. Now, the claim that Turkey engages in radicalization activities targeting India or any other country is purely disinformative and lacks any factual basis. Of course, now that, viewers, is the stand that Turkey has taken. But now, of course, I have my guest on the broadcast, Ambassador Gauri Shankar, who is a former diplomat. Now, Ambassador Shankar, the main thing that we're discussing here is the radicalization of these terrorists and how they are brainwashed. I'd like your opening comments on that.
Good afternoon, Vaishali. Good afternoon to all the viewers. Now, we can see that there is a pattern here. Initially, we saw that there was a mullah in Sopian in a mosque who was involved in radicalization of many doctors. We also saw that mullah was linked to Jaish-e-Mohammed in Pakistan. So that was one track in which the radicalization was taking place, particularly aimed at doctors in the country and more so in the institute near Faridabad. Then now the link has been established that some of these people, including Umar Nabi, who was involved in the blast, he along with some other people traveled to Turkey in March this year. And during that period, they naturally established some contacts with some radical organization. And this has become absolutely clear that he was in touch before the blast today, blast on the 10th. He was in touch with his handler in Ankara. That has been established by the intelligence agencies. So obviously he was seeking some instructions. But what I believe is that the government of Turkey may not be directly involved in this. It may be an organization or an individual based in Ankara who was helping the terrorist in India. It may not be connected with the government of Turkey directly. But obviously, this is another source which has been involved. The third thing, we also saw the connection with Bangladesh because some reports indicate that this 3,200 kilogram of explosive came from Bangladesh to Nepal and then to India. So these three countries, Pakistan, Turkey, and Bangladesh, are involved, or the individuals based in these countries are involved in this entire exercise. The first part of the exercise was to radicalize and to recruit the doctors in India in different cities, and then to help them in procurement of explosive material, in procurement of various devices which are used for preparing the bomb and for timers etc to explode them. And then there were certain weapons which were also found in custody of these people. So it is absolutely clear that the various agencies have been able to discover the direct links with Pakistan, with Turkey, and with Bangladesh of these terrorist, actors who were who were planning a very large, catastrophe in India. I believe, and I understand from various organizations and newspapers that if they had succeeded in their plans, they could have exploded as many as 50 to 100 explosions all over the country. So it was a big disaster which has been avoided by the alertness of our agencies. And I appeal to all the citizens of the country to support the intelligence agencies and to uncover this kind of plots in the future. Vaisali, over to you.
Ambassador Gauri Shankar, let's also talk about the role of the internet here. I mean, social media, of course, is used to communicate ideologies and to recruit these men. But more than that, Ambassador Gauri Shankar, I was reading the recruitment is done through the use of AI-generated content and VR simulations to create tailored and immersive propaganda experiences for them. So what would you like to say on that?
Vaisali, it is extremely difficult today to control these social media applications. What one can do is that the government of India and its agencies should keep a tab on suspected individuals, suspected locations, and suspected applications. That is the only way out. Some of the applications which are blatantly used for this purpose, they could be banned. That could be the initial step. But controlling AI and controlling internet in today's era is extremely difficult. But of course, certain applications which are outrightly used by these people should be banned. I believe that. Secondly, the material which is available for preparing bomb or acquisition of explosive etc, I think that should be examined by our agencies clearly, and the relevant media controller, whether it is Telegram, whether it is Meta, or whether it is Google, they should be warned of such kind of material which can be misused by terrorist organizations. So these steps should be taken. If necessary, the IT Act in India should be further strengthened to enable the intelligence agencies to track these things properly.
Thank you, Ambassador Gauri Shankar, for joining me on the broadcast. And now moving on to some breaking